I seem to remember we had a ferocious debate on the long-form census. There were several question periods about Bev Oda writing NOT on a grant application. I believe that was one of the incidents that led to the contempt of Parliament motion that, more or less, got us into this much-appreciated election. But now that we're at the start of the third week, how many of you have heard the words Afghanistan or Libya cross the lips of our leaders? Oda and the census we can debate. War and peace, well, they're just too trivial. Afghanistan is just the biggest foreign conflict we've been engaged in since the Second World War. We're supposed to leave this year, the conflict still unresolved, after 10 years of sacrifice and combat. And only a couple of days before the election was called, we committed, along with the French, the British, and the Americans, to establishing a so-called no-fly zone over Libya. That's right. We joined a second war, bombing Gaddafi's defenses, before we finished the one we're already been in for a decade. Have these issues been forgotten in this election? No. I place them more in the category of willfully sidelined, Afghanistan, and deliberately obscured, Libya. We've been in Afghanistan at great cost, as said, for a decade. Our resolve in that war has greatly changed, from never cutting and running to weariness and estrangement from the whole project. But to debate Afghanistan, to discuss why we leave when it's still unresolved, is obviously out of bounds in the Canadian election. And then there's the bonus war of Libya. It's simply amazing that we got into that war with virtually no debate prior to the decision. More amazing that when the subject finally made it to Parliament days before the election, all parties voted unanimously to support it. There was no surer way to guarantee it would not be brought up in the election. If you want a truly consequential example of contempt of Parliament, how about that? Finessing by all party agreement, even the blocs, all real discussion of Libya. There is a real sense that Canada's politics and this election certainly are about everything except what matters. The parties get to bicker among themselves. We get the sport of a campaign. The polls are a daily roller coaster. Our politicos can debate the debates, ejections from rallies, and the rabid mutterings of some seemingly fringe supremacist. But introduce a real issue, a matter of genuine depth and complex reality, even as in Afghanistan and Libya, matters of life and death, well, why spoil a good election by talking about what really counts, or bore people with what really matters? For The National, I'm Rex Murphy.